Tune in for Patrick Ching's Painting in Paradise.
Aloha, I'm Patrick Ching, and thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. In this episode, we enter Hawaii's streams and meet the animals that dwell in them.
We'll see how some native stream animals climb their way up huge waterfalls to get to the upper streams that are safer from predators. Then we'll draw the large goby fish called ʻoʻopu nākea and learn how to paint it too. All this and more on a stream running episode of Painting in Paradise!
Hawaii's monk seals and green sea turtles have been around for millions of years. When their numbers got low, they became protected by law. These animals are returning to beaches they've not come to for hundreds of years. This causes excitement and sometimes conflict. Honu and Hina is a children's book that was painted with aloha by many artists of all ages. This story of coexistence answers some questions about the history of these animals, but more importantly, about their future.
Available at the Kilauea Lighthouse, Patrick Ching Art in the Princeville Center, or online at patrickchingart.com.
Hawaii's streams have always been a big source of wonder and learning for me. Whenever I'd discover a new stream animal, I'd run to the encyclopedia and try to read about them. As I grew up, my interest in biology flourished. Soon I was creating wildlife art, including coloring books, and this painting of Hawaii's native stream animals that was made into a poster for the Hawaii State Division of Aquatic Resources. On the island of Maui, I met up with Skippy Howe, a man who's been studying Hawaii streams for many years.
Hi, I am Skippy Howe. I work for the State Division of Aquatic Resources. I've been actually an aquatic biologist here on Maui for 36 years now. What I've been fortunate is I've been able to study the streams. It's nice to see healthy populations of ʻoʻopu, ʻopai, and hihiwai.
Hawaii's native stream animals include mollusks. Of these, the largest is the hihiwai. It can grow to be 2 inches in diameter and inhabit the higher mountain streams. The hapawai is browner in color and smoother in texture than the hihiwai. It has more wing-like tips of its shell, and it inhabits the lower areas of Hawaii's streams. Hawaii has 2 types of native freshwater crustaceans. The first is the freshwater shrimp called Opai kalaole. There's also a native prawn called the Opai oeha'a. Hawaii streams also have introduced crayfish and Tahitian prawns that grow much larger than the native prawn and opai. The male Tahitian prawns have very large claws, and they prey on native opai and fish. Other introduced stream animals also eat natives. Minnows, tilapia, and catfish all prey on Hawaii's native gobies, which are known as ʻoʻopu. There are 4 kinds of ʻoʻopu that are endemic to Hawaii and are found nowhere else in the world. The ʻoʻopu alamo'o, whose males have a distinct orange tail area. The ʻoʻopu naniha, with its vertical stripes and dark band beneath its eye. The ʻoʻopu no pili, whose males have a distinct black and white horizontal striping. And the ʻoʻopu nākea, which is the largest of the native gobies. One interesting thing about the nākea is that the males have a much larger mouth than the females. See if you can tell the sexes of these fish just by looking at their mouth. All of the native ʻoʻopu have pelvic fins that are fused together to form a suction cup. The suction cups help them to climb wet rocks and tall waterfalls to get to the higher mountain streams. These streams are much safer from predators because most of the predator stream animals can't climb waterfalls. The indigenous ʻoʻopu akupa is a carnivorous fish that does not have a suction cup and therefore stays in the lower stream areas. All of Hawaii's stream animals lay eggs in the streams, and their eggs and larvae are washed into the sea where they spend part of their young lives as zooplankton in the ocean. When big rains send fresh water into the sea, the tiny larvae start making their way back to the streams. The young ʻoʻopu are called hinana and are transparent at first, until they start to eat and gain some pigment. The tiny ʻoʻopu use their mouths as well as their suction cup fins to help them climb up some of Hawaii's tallest waterfalls. Attention teachers and students, if you'd like to learn about and help Hawaii's native stream life, visit nawaiekolu.org. You can even take a virtual stream tour. Now get your paper, pencils, pens, and whatever you want to draw with ready, because when we return, I'll show you how to draw the ʻoʻopu nākea.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I go about drawing the ʻoʻopu nākea. Now, you know, this is the biggest of the ʻoʻopu species, so I'm going to make it fit on this paper by kind of making the body here and the head here, and I'm going to make the tail like turn back like that, you know. Now, you know, when I start any drawing, I like to start by pressing softly. How are we going to press? Softly, that's right. Press softly so we don't dig into the paper, and that way we can erase or ignore lines if we need to, okay? So the ʻoʻopu, like many animals, can be formed up using ovals. Ovals are great for forming up people, animals. So I'm going to start by putting an oval right about the center of the page, maybe a little below the center of the page, okay? Just like that. I'm going to put an oval right there. And that's going to be for the ʻoʻopu's body. Now right there, I'm going to put the head of the ʻoʻopu, and that's another egg shape, just about that big right there, okay? Now for the tail, I'm going to put a shape, and the shape is kind of like this. I don't even know the name of this shape, but it goes, okay? Just like that. Can you see the ʻoʻopu taking shape now? We got the body, we got the head, we got the tail, and we can put another oval way back here for the tail fin, just like that, okay? And we'll just kind of connect it there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is the pectoral fins, okay? And I'm going to make a circle right around here, right where the head meets the body. And on the other side, I'll make a little thinner oval like that, okay? That's the other side one. Now next, I'm going to draw a line from the top of the tail here. And look, I'm going to determine the center top of this ʻoʻopu's body coming down here, kind of staying on the top, because that's where I want the fins to go around. So make this line, but keep it up top, not right in the middle, a little higher than the middle. The next thing I can do are the maka, the eyes. And I can have one big bulging eye right around here. And the far eye, I can put them right around there, okay? You see them coming to life? And next, I'm going to put in the fins. Now, there's a couple of dorsal fins here. Okay, one there, and one a little longer, like that. And the next thing I can do is put this bottom fin over there. And that one comes right around there, okay? And I think that's all the fins we got going. Now one thing you can do with the fins is start to give them direction of lines, yeah? So the lines of the dorsal fins can just go kind of in the direction that the dorsal fin grows like that. All right, and the second dorsal fin will have lines going in that direction too, as will this bottom fin over here. Okay, now the pectoral fins, they might have a little section right here that's a little thicker, and then have some lines radiating out. This one here, we just get to see a little bit of it. Okay, and finally, the tail fin. Now looking at that maka, it seems like something's missing, and that is the eyeball itself, yeah? So you can put a couple more circles there. All right, we can see one of those. Now if you know ʻoʻopu, like I know ʻoʻopu, you know there's something very distinctive missing on this fish. The ʻoʻopu nākea is famous for its huge lip. And I tell you what, I didn't know this until recently, but the males have a much bigger mouth than the females. So just put a line right around here. If you want a male, you're going to make a big lip like that. If you want a female, you're going to make a smaller lip, okay? So there, I made a male. Next, we can put some of the stripes and the lines. And I just kind of put bands going around this direction here, around the belly. I don't know how many there are, 5, 7. And I put a little bit of markings in there, jagas, you know, jagas. All the way up here, within those bands. As I recall, the ʻoʻopu nākea have a dot right around their dorsal fin there, and another one right there on the tail fin area. I think it's called the caudal fin or the caudal something. Now that I've got the ʻoʻopu nākea formed up and drawn out and put some detail on it, I'm going to go over with a bigger pen so you can see it even better. And this time I'm going to just keep the lines that I want and disregard the ones that I don't want to emphasize, okay? So I will start right here at the bottom of the fin, the tail fin. Come here, and I'm just going to come all the way to the ʻoʻopu, and I'll stop right there, okay? Then I will continue to the head and the big lip there. I'm going to give a little bit of an overlapping line and a bump on the other side eyeball. Now, every time you got a little bit of a line that goes in front of another line, that tells the viewer what's in front of what. So I want you to be very alert about those. Pay attention to them. Notice them in nature. Notice them in other people's artwork. Notice them in comic books. Yeah. There we go. I'm going to form the maka up and all right. And then I'm going to make this body come here, and right behind the fins, I'll just kind of leave it. Continue it. I'll just leave it there. And right where we started, I'm going to finish, okay? Next, I'm going to draw the pectoral fins. Now that I have my ʻoʻopu nākea, I think I'll put him on a rock and maybe another background rock and build this picture up with a little more than we have already, okay? And now that I've got my ʻoʻopu nākea there, I think I'll put one swimming in the distance. And now I've got a ʻoʻopu nākea on a rock with some limu and another one swimming in the background there. I'll put his gill right around there. And now I'm just going to give it a little bit of shadowing. Maybe just a little bit of color or shading right under the fish. And, you know, the little dimples in the rocks. Ding, 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 ding. And there you have it, the ʻoʻopu nākea.
When we return, I'll talk about encouraging fellow artists, and then I'll show you how you can paint an ʻoʻopu. On Oahu's east coast lies a special place called Makapuuu. On its cliffs is the Makapuuu Lighthouse, which was first built in 1909. Its 12-foot-tall hyperradiant lens is the largest in the world, and its light still shines from within it, signaling mariners and aircraft of its location. In 2009, Naturally Hawaiian Gallery in Waimanalo hosted the 100th anniversary events for the Makapuuu Lighthouse, including an art show, a hike with some of the old caretakers, and a t-shirt designed by myself and artist Nick Black. The original black and white design has now been recreated in color and printed in Hawaii, available in women's and men's sizes small to 3X. The t-shirts and mugs are available at Hawaiian Island Cafe in the Waimanalo Shopping Center or at patrickching.com. A portion of the proceeds go to benefit the Friends of Waimanalo.
So on this episode of Art Talk, I'm going to talk about encouragement. Now, you know that being an artist, claiming you're an artist, saying you're an artist takes guts already, yeah? You got to be brave to say that, to go through the world and let the world know that you are taking on this life with the mindset of an artist, a person that learns artistically, that absorbs things, that analyzes things, that is sensitive and aware of their surroundings, aware of nature around you. And sometimes those people might get a little ridiculed. Maybe folks will make fun of you a little bit. You don't care, you love it, or maybe it bothers you. But I want to talk about encouragement because there's a lot of people out there that are doing the same thing by putting themselves and their art out there for people to see. Okay? You're exposing yourself. You're putting your work out there, and you know very well that people are going to say something about it because that's the nature of art, and that's the nature of observing art. You know, we comment on it, we may criticize it, we may say things about it that might even hurt the artist's feelings if they heard it. Now, I want to encourage you to recognize the people that are out there that profess to be artists and want the world to recognize them as artists. Give them a boost, okay? When you see their art that they've shown you on social media, at a show, or just talking to them, give them encouragement. Artists thrive on feedback. We thrive on encouragement. We try to improve ourselves always. That's the nature of being an artist. You're always trying to improve yourself, and you're using art as the vehicle to do so. But it opens us up to being criticized or judged. And you just gotta take it. I mean, that's a choice you've made to put yourself out there for people to see. This is who I am. This is how I'm growing. Can you come along with me, enjoy it, and give me some tips where you can? So if you know somebody or are somebody that is going through life as an artist, please accept encouragement, give encouragement, promote your friends, promote your artist family. Tell your kids how much you love their paintings. Do art with them. Do art as a family activity. You know, if Tutu is painting with the grandkids and the keiki and the mommy and the daddy or the cousins, uncle, daughter, sister, brother, son, whoever, I hope you guys take my advice. Get your friends and family together, do art together, and learn about the world through the eyes of an artist.
And now I'll show you how you can paint your ʻoʻopu drawing. This drawing was done on watercolor paper because I'll be using some watercolor painting techniques on it. Watercolor paper absorbs and holds the water so that the artist can guide the paint to where it's wanted. You can use cheap or expensive watercolor paints, or you can thin acrylic paints with water and use them in a watercolor style. That's what I'm doing on this painting. When you use acrylic paints as watercolors, your layers will stay put once they're dry. So when you put additional layers on, those layers will not lift off the first layers you put down. In traditional watercolors, the artist leaves the white or light areas unpainted so that the color of the paper becomes the lightest color of the painting. I'll start painting the water that is behind the ʻoʻopu and the rock that it's grazing on. First, I'll paint with clean water around the ʻoʻopu and rock. That way my paint will stay within the area I painted with water. I'm using an aqua color that I made with phthalo green and white for the water above, and a bluish purplish color for the water below. The water I put on the paper helps the two colors blend together. Sometimes you can use gravity to help one color flow into the other. For the rock, I'll make a tan color. And for the shadow under the ʻoʻopu, I'll use a touch of gray and purple. Sometimes I use a combination of blue and brown to make a dark gray. I'll use some yellow and green for the limu or algae that is on the rock. For the ʻoʻopu itself, I'm using a yellowish tan color first. The males are the ones with really big lips. Then I add some medium and darker browns. He's got some brownish stripes too, and he's got some black marks on those brown stripes. I painted over the ʻoʻopu in the distance with the color of the water, and then added some brown colors to it as well. Finally, I'll reinforce some lines with this pen. And don't forget your signature.
Thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. I hope you enjoyed learning about Hawaii's streams and the animals that live in them. I'd love to see what you did, so why don't you send pictures of you and your art to patrickching.com. Aloha.
I remember days when we were younger. We used to catch ʻoʻopu in the mountain stream. Round the Kolau hills we'd ride on